like to show one of those Firehawks doing a drop. I know there's one in there. There it is. Or is that the 412? That's the older 412. Not that it's got any problems with the 412. That is a beautiful helicopter. But the Firehawk just carries a little bit more, and they're just sexier to look at when they're dropping. This one is going to do a drop here just in a moment, but look at all the personnel on the ground already. They have got numbers of boots on the ground, and those are called the hands crews. Those guys doing amazing work. One time I was honored to be able to train with them just for about 30 minutes. I was exhausted, beyond exhausted. What these guys do, the packs that they carry and all that gear to keep them safe, and then, today might not be so hot, but they're still hiking all this distance, getting up there, and then the hard work starts. These guys are amazing, and the number of them out there on the hillside right now, hopefully they'll have this under control shortly. But again, that flash fuel, little bit of wind, moves very quickly, and there's a lot of greenery around here as well, mature trees, and then all those homes. I can understand the concern that the fire departments have. Send it back to you, ladies in the studio.
I can't help to think what a sight for sore eyes these crews are for the residents there. Quite a different situation when we were looking at the response for all of the other fires, not seeing those crews right there on the ground immediately. So clearly this is some reprieve for the residents in the North Valley area. But again, that evacuation order in effect right now. Level 3 go with the eastbound edge of Balboa to the west, Tampa south. We're talking about Cessnon Boulevard right there, which you're seeing bordering that fire, and Sunshine Canyon Road on the north side. But this area is prone to fire, and a lot of residents know the routine at this point, but hopefully they are getting an accurate evacuation order in that area. Stu, thank you so much. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
You can show us available voice.
762, copy voice.
LA Squad 33, cancel on scene, Messenger, Sheriff Matter only, ambulance cancel on scene.
33, copy, and 233, copy.
And the advisory lifting, but unfortunately it's now being extended into Friday, and this applies to just about anywhere across Southern California outside of our beach communities where the humidity levels are, of course, a little higher. Meanwhile, outside of our beach areas, we're looking at dry conditions, 6 to 8 to even 12%, and we are bone dry, and that, unfortunately, the reason why we are under red flag conditions, that if a new fire were to spark, it could rapidly grow and spread and get out of control. So we'll have that red flag in place again through tomorrow. High wind warnings, as I pointed out, where gusts are 65 plus, even the opportunity, unfortunately, of 75-mile-an-hour winds in some isolated areas across Ontario, San Bernardino, Riverside, Fontana, Rialto, pushing southward, Lake Elsinore, Temecula, as well as portions of Orange County, downwind of the Santa Ana Mountains, Irvine and Anaheim could be seeing these similar conditions. The strong winds have adjusted and is now pushing a little further to the east as that area of low pressure that was offering and providing the upper level support is also shifting. So we're seeing what's happening in the upper levels of the atmosphere and seeing it on the surface level. And looking forward ahead, we'll be watching locations across Santa Clarita Valley. Wind advisories currently in place. Also through Friday for those same vulnerable fire zones. And a high wind watch will continue to watch the Palisades Fire areas very closely. But again, we've got to keep on with paying attention to the local forecast. To give you an idea of the peak winds from yesterday. Fremont Canyon, Arrowhead Springs, Madison Truck Trail, over 90 miles an hour. We're not going to see that today, so that's a hint of good news, but we are going to be experiencing winds, unfortunately, just strong enough. We've got this area of high pressure, as I mentioned, and the pressure gradients are relaxed a little bit, and the area of low pressure is shifting out of our area, but the western periphery of that area of low pressure is still providing just enough support to lead to those high wind warnings, again, for the Inland Empire communities and Orange County. Breakdown 7-day forecast. 70s. It's going to be a warm afternoon out of the windy areas. And we'll look forward to mild temperatures, and winds could make another return. Santa Ana winds next week. Traffic conditions. Do you want to do traffic conditions? Oh, okay. A reminder, PCH is closing both directions near the Palisades from Malibu to Santa Monica. Send it back over to you two. Good morning, Melvin. Good morning, Jen.
Morning, Samara. Thank you very much.
Conscious person 17, squad 90. Switch to dispatch, correction, command 20.
She's here at the Pasadena Humane Society with her dogs because at this time, because you don't have a home, this obviously is a difficult decision for you, but just to have them take care of your pets for now.
Yes. Yeah, our house burnt down. I was staying with a family member and lost all of my pictures, all of my documents.
I guess we lost her signal. Okay, we'll check back in with Coco, but they're doing such great things there, really helping.
They really are.
Yeah, the pets and the people who need it.
And God bless foster parents for pets, because, you know, it's a temporary situation. If you have room in your home, in your heart, please take in these pets. They really need a safe haven right now. And thank you to all the work the Pasadena Humane Society has been doing. They've been going viral on social media for all the volunteer efforts, so thank you to everyone who's helped contribute. In times like these, we're really seeing the kindness of our community, and so many want to help in any way they can. I've been getting so many DMs. I'm running out of space on my iPhone. I'm saving everything. I'm screenshotting it. But I want to give you a list of some places that you can do some drop-offs to. The first one is a local boutique, Coop. They've been holding a clothing drive at their store on Beverly Boulevard, and many volunteers have not only been dropping off donations, they've also been transporting them to evacuation centers for people in need. Here is the address. If you have been affected by these fires and you need clothing, please go to Coop now through Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And if you are willing to donate, they need gently used women's and men's shoes and brand new socks and underwear for all ages. Again, the address right there on the screen. You can also go to their social media page to see what else they need and what they have to offer right now. It's at Shop Coop LA. Also, a firefighter friend of mine from Station 88 in Sherman Oaks reached out to me yesterday telling me they've been having so many generous food drop-offs, and he provided me with a list of what they need right now at this time. So here's what you can donate to your local firehouse. Right now they need water. We got to keep our firefighters hydrated. They're also looking for healthy snacks like fruit, nuts, beef jerky. Protein right now is great for them as well. Non-perishable protein like beef jerky comes in handy. They can put it in their pocket. Here are some things that he discouraged. Please, no caffeinated drinks at this time. No coffee, no energy drinks, anything like that. No cakes, no cookies. He tells me while they do appreciate it, because come on, who doesn't enjoy a sweet treat? They do want to keep their bodies as healthy as possible, especially right now.
Because they get that sugar crash or the caffeine crash, you know, they need to have a sustained energy level, right, for the work they're doing.
And they need to stay hydrated.
Yeah.
And for those of you who live in the Studio City, North Hollywood, Burbank, Valley Village, Universal City, and Toluca Lake area, the Gary Marshall Theater has opened its doors as a donation site. And this weekend, they are collecting non-perishable food, gently used clothing, toiletries, blankets, masks, batteries and phone chargers, coats, and honestly, anything else you have and are able to donate at this time. They're located at 4252 West Riverside Drive in Burbank. If you have lost your home or been evacuated, Big Bear is also lending support, resources, and discounted places to stay in the mountains. They are supporting those affected and offering discounted safe haven cabins in Big Bear to provide those with a peaceful
Rescue 11, San Fernando Squad 19, 830, East Sacramento.
Reach out to them via phone or email, and their team will assist you. The website is bigbearvacations.com for more information. Also, if you have a few extra bucks right now, anything you can spare, you can join Fox's support of families impacted by the California wildfires. Your donation enables the Red Cross to respond to and help people recover from this disaster.
Run your district with NG2, 830 Sacramento.
Support these efforts,
Squad
or
19.
scan the QR code on your screen.
Responding 605 West Crosby. Squad 19 acknowledges swap. Responding 12 District 605 West Crosby.
On Instagram. Thanks to you, I have found a place in Orange County and in the IE.
Oh, good.
Taking donations.
Perfect.
Yes.
Want to get out to Stu overhead in Skyfox about this new fire that's broken out of Hills, the Archer Fire. It looks like, Stu, that firefighters have made significant progress on this.
Significant progress and so freaking
copy, redirect, swap, responding now, 12 District 605 West Crosby.
LA City Fire helicopter. He's looking for a hot spot to drop that water. Now, this is the area that we came up on, and when we arrived, it really, truly was just a small piece starting right about there. Those high winds, that flash fuel ripped through here very, very quickly, but LA County Fire, LA City Fire, and also some Forest Service are out here as well. The dozers got here very, very quickly, both of them. You got the county one and the LA City one. They're out there cutting lines, and all those crews are up there on that hillside working to put out some of those hot spots, doing it by hand. That is a job. Where are they getting their water from? Well, Sunshine Canyon is literally right there. That's where they're getting their water source from. If I can find it.
LA.
It's like, whoa, somewhere right over here. Anyways, they're picking up their water right there at Sunshine
Go
Canyon.
for Squad
That's
19.
Helicopters. It is a
Squad 19, you've been swapped. You're now responding 12 District Medical Rescue, 605 West Crosby, 605 West Crosby.
Of course, you can see it right there. If you were watching
Copy, 605 West Crosby.
this was a lot of smoke. This was a lot of fire, and it was moving very, very quickly. Got a lot of mature brush right nearby, but you can see the job that they have done. Amazing work. They are talking about evacuations, though, in this neighborhood right here. And I can also tell you, I'm going to double check it while we're live, Balboa Boulevard, they were stopping everybody right about Knollwood. If you know that area, it's right by the fire station. It looks like it is still closed down northbound. They're allowing people to get out of the neighborhood, but they're not allowing anybody to go north on Balboa. So if that's part of your drive this morning, trying to avoid the freeway, you better plan on something else. Not sure when they're going to reopen it, but right now that firefight's still technically ongoing because just one little ember could just really get this thing to pop off one more time, especially with these winds and all that dry fuel around here. So they're going to make sure this is out before they're saying we're going to lift those evacuations and also reopen the roads.
Another evacuation warning area they posted. So there's an order and a warning. So the warning is for areas east of Tampa and the border of Balboa, as you mentioned, Rinaldi to Cessnon. So that is kind of the level 2, as we say. Just be ready, right? It's not go right now. So as you mentioned, though, Stu, they're making good progress, so it's looking good with a lot of resources there. And we'll check back in with you in just a little bit. So coming up, we are speaking to a mother, I believe, who lost her home and her children's school is in ashes. So
LA Patrol 102 is available. Can you give us that fire alarm in 102's district?
We'll be right back.
LA engine 186, please confirm for cancel office.
186, you have Patrol 102 responding with you.
Copy that. Show us around.
6, copy. Donald being LS 47.
LA engine 62s and 102s area, give us that fire alarm.
Copy, you've been assigned. Engine 186, you can cancel. 93, squad 93. 93, respond, sick person, your district, 5166, Opal, cross the smoke tree, squad 93, acknowledge.
Squad 93 is en route.
93.
LA engine 12. ERP, this is a confirmed false alarm.
Unit advising spoke with RP, stand by, you recovered. Engine 12, go for LA.
LA engine 12, we were able to make entry, nobody's here. You can cancel squad and ambulance.
12, copy, cancel all, squad 19, cancel, squad 19, cancel. Unit advising, contact with RP, false. Unit identifier only.
LA Patrol 102, false alarm.
102, copy, false, that's 62, copy.
62 copies are available.
2, Patrol 102, you can clear.
As you've been watching the Eaton Fire devastate the Altadena community, one woman has lost almost everything, but she is stepping up right now for her community.
My city burned. My kids
1801, go ahead.
also in smoke.
Released from the Hurst Fire, available voice to Park 1010.
Also gone. And here in despair, I decided
copy, voice 1010 on the timer to Park from Mark.
For my community.
Wow, that is so tough to see and hear. That is the voice of Joan Wynn. She's joining us this morning right now to tell us a little bit about what she has started. Joan, thank you so much for being with us, and we're so sorry to see all
this is just such a needed part.
It's terrible, absolutely terrible. But what you're doing is really taking your energy and putting it towards some positivity and trying to help others. You started LA Family Support. If you can tell us what that is and how it's helping other local families.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me here. I feel so grateful to be here and be safe with my family. So there's so much gratitude there. Watching my kids in their school burn down and seeing so many other schools in the community burn down, I saw how the kids were also displaced and lacked normalcy, and saw remnants, of course, of COVID and the pandemic and how much that really impacts children. And my background in child care and early childhood education really motivated me to do something to give the kids a semblance of normalcy. So through this initiative, we are offering parents an opportunity to have up to 3 days of sponsored child care, and that's for kids, babies who are displaced from daycares, preschoolers who are displaced from preschools, school-age children up to 12 years old. So we're working on options for older kids to have just a few days in the next few weeks to just be with friends, be in the classroom environment, and feel alive again with their peers. And that's what really motivated this campaign, was, again, bringing that normalcy back.
Joan, as a mom yourself, how do you explain to your kids what happened, and how do you talk to them about this?
You know, it's really hard. There's no right or wrong way. I see all these, posts on Instagram about what to do and what not to do. I think the most important thing is to emphasize that they're safe, that they're safe with us. And what I told them is, things are just things, and of course things are special too, and emphasizing that a house is really where we sleep, but a home is where we're really all together. And as long as we're together, there's some sort of hope there. We explained that this is something that's hard. We validate their feelings. We give them space to tell us when they're feeling sad or feeling angry. And I think that's honestly all that we could do. There's really no playbook for this. It's really devastating, but we're really trying our best to make space for communication and make space for our children to speak to us about this.
Right, and how are your kids doing and the kids in the community? Where are you going to facilitate this 3-day-long child care?
Yeah, so my company, Boomo, it's a marketplace for on-demand child care in camps. So we actually have a network of 10,000 searchable locations.
We already did the normal 11:30 thing, I'm pretty sure. What time is it? Yeah, I think we did it. I think we just did a...
ALS 761, sorry.
Skyfox is calling this a knockdown. Everybody can go back home.
LA from Engine 82. Who made the welfare check call?
Yes, sir.
82 LA, call came in from CHP, advising they were on scene.
Christian,
they were the original contact point for us.
It's
No
inevitable.
For some other
You guys
informant.
talked at the same time, Dave and you. Christian, did you say where this?
After that, we have a next-door neighbor saying that the family left several days ago.
Yeah, the desk is saying we are clear from this location. If you want to do the, hey, it looks great, good job, everybody, we can do that.
Arrest 101s.
Yep. I won't say Skyfox
BLS
says it's a
61.
knockdown, everybody can go home. But won't say that.
Would you like me to discontinue the ambulance?
Oh man, look at that bank.
Team copy, quarters, Barton. Any respondent sick person, 40th District, push to command 20. 87s.
LA water tender 156.
Oh, we're live.
6 release from the Archer, go ahead.
Hey, if anybody's watching, you guys joined us late. It's all your fault. That fire pretty much, you know, I'm not the guy to say it's out, and if you heard me saying that earlier on, I was, you know, I was being me. I was being sarcastic. We are doing some work. If you guys are local, turn on 11. We got Good Day LA Plus going on. We are going to do something live there, and if not, just hang on. We'll be back with you in just a moment. We're not going anywhere. You're going to hear me just ramble, but that's all I do anyway. You hear me ramble even if I wasn't doing Good Day Plus. But at any rate, this was a fire, a couple acres. It could have been so much different, but LA City Fire, LA County Fire, and the Forest Service, I think they trained nearby here because they had the dozers here, like so fast. You've got ground crews out there in force. Check it out. They're the dozers. And it's LA County, LA City. We got the LA City helicopters right there. They're getting water right at Sunshine Canyon, which is just at the top of the screen. So their refill and drop time super fast. They've got this so well taken care of. The helicopters have to find a hot spot to drop on. We got to go to work.
Outside 121, engine 6-4. 6-4, respond to the outside investigation, 121, 23546 Jubilee, across Charmingdale. Engine 6-4, acknowledge.
Hey, Jen, you know it, and you know what? I was looking at the clock. We did this right before, so 40 minutes. They've got this pretty well taken care of. Now, I got to be very clear about all this. I'm just a guy in a helicopter. I'm blessed, of course, but I am not the person to say this fire is out. They've got all those professionals down there. They're the ones that are going to be handling it, and I'm sure there's a lot of mop-up and a lot of hot spots we don't see or cannot even understand about that are still going on down there. Little ember and a little bit of a breeze, and that fire could just kick right back up. They are talking about evacuation orders, category 3, meaning you need to go in some of these homes that you're seeing right here in this shot. But from what we saw in less than 40 minutes, that LA City Fire, LA County Fire, ground crews, and 2 dozers from the fire department really kind of wrapped this thing up so fast. That was all flash fuel and a little bit of breeze and just a little bit of fire. It moves so very, very quickly. But the number of resources that happened to be here or nearby, and the fact that they got them here so quickly, that really took care of all that open flame so fast. Now, I couldn't find it earlier on, and I'm making jokes with myself that I'm going to miss it again. There it is. That's the actual helispot right there where they actually get the water. That's going to be right by Sunshine Canyon. So those helicopters, they didn't have far to go. They jumped over there, got their water, came back over here and dropped it. Just moments before we went live, we know that they are really starting to wrap this up because the helicopters were having to find spots to drop water on. When we arrived, there was a lot of fire, a lot of smoke, and these guys did an amazing job. LAPD down there also working to keep those evacuation orders in place. Do what they say, listen to what they're saying. Those guys know way more than me up here, I can guarantee you. Balboa Boulevard, got to throw that one in, and then I'll toss it back. Balboa Boulevard closed at Knollwood. If you know the area, it's right by the McDonald's, by the fire station. They're turning you around. Northbound is closed. Southbound, they're allowing traffic to leave. That might be in place for some time. Send it back to y'all. See you. Copy. Yes. Skyfox, Simon Test, Dave, and others, we're going to wander over to the Palisades. Sure, we'll take a peek.
It's 233, cancel AMR.
Copy, cancel AMR. Alarm with reset 169 into 244, 2335 southbound.
Hey, Dave, I mean, we're looking at it from, I don't know how well you know the valley, on the other side of the valley, but that is the Kenneth Fire. We'll head over, we'll get better look, but just letting you know.
Charlie, show squad 131 en route.
31, copy en route.
Show. We're still doing the noon. Okay. 1,000 acres. Copy all. We'll be here or there. What's the difference between here and there? T.
LS 136 is squad 84. LS 134s. Engine to squad 183. 83, respond to chest bands 185 district with your squad 550 East Phillips Boulevard, across Palomares, unit 21, engine 183, acknowledge voice. Dispersed 64s. Voice, acknowledge, run by voice.
183 en route.
3 cap. Respond wires down your district 1005 Alamosa across Padua. Engine 62 acknowledge.
LA engine 62 copies response.
2 copy. Break 244 LA.
LA go for 244.
44 being reported false to the alarm company.
244 copy, we're available.
44. Fire alarm 166 is. Boom 166, respond fire alarm your district 10641 East Valley. 166 acknowledge.
166 en route.
6 en route.
No, we're staying here. We're doing the Kenneth at the noon, top of the noon. The one that's under us. I'm just keeping an eye on these guys, even though they're far away. And I don't think he's got a lead plane, so I don't think he's going to be doing a drop anytime soon. Or maybe he is. Nah, he doesn't have any flaps there or nothing. Well, maybe he is. But did you delt it? All right, board. Yes, sir. Okay. All right, cool. We're at a different fire, but we'll make it happen. Copy all. Kenneth.
LA, engine 136, cancel squad.
136, copy, squad 84, cancel.
LA engine 5141.
Oh my gosh.
5141, go.
5141, show 5141 in squad 101, transfer to Pomona.
I know we're flying a lot because the media cards that we record on, every time I look up, they're full. And every time I look up and see they're full, I clear them. So, yeah, we're flying a lot.
Last 23, squad 22.
5,000.
LA 92, cancel
Those
squad.
are trees.
92, copy, squad 92, cancel.
Ash.
131, cancel, squad 131, cancel.
Stand by. This is the Cañada Fire. We went from the Granada Hills over here to the Cañada Fire. Taking a look at that, 1,000 acres, like you said, 35% containment. Those numbers actually are huge as far as containment goes. But this was another one, broke out early late in the afternoon. Actually, I was at home watching Fox, and I watched them do the coverage out here, and they hit it hard and fast as well. Look at all those FOS check lines. Now, these are all the aircraft that were actually over at the Paradise Fire, and when this started, they saw that flash fuel. They knew about all that wind, so they brought in the FOS check, dropping big aircraft right off the bat. They have definitely kept this thing in check quickly. Now, this morning, Skyfox was over here. This was our first stop, actually, because there was a big flare-up, a lot of fire going on out here. It was basically the same thing. They had the crews out here. They were doing their thing, but a little bit of ember and a little bit of wind in the wrong direction, and that flash fuel, and it started right back up again. Right now, though, I can pretty much say there are a couple of hot spots, but the number of firefighters that are down there, this is going to be Ventura County and also LA County Fire Department. They're working together out here. In the morning, they actually had the Ventura Fire Hawk dropping water on it. It was pretty impressive to see, and they were doing great work, but right now you can still see that kind of steamy mist, but that's actually smoke. That's not a good thing, but the firefighters, they're here, they know about it, and those hot spots, like you said earlier on, it's like whack-a-mole. They're going to be running around trying to make sure all those hot spots are out before they leave, and of course that containment number's got to be 100%, but look at all those homes that were in the path of danger. They were all saved, no damage, everything is good. Sending it back to y'all in the studio. Yep.
leave these areas and evacuate. Officials are now telling people outside the evacuation zone even that they should stay inside and keep their windows closed because the air quality has gotten so bad from all the smoke coming from these fires. Garcia. Well, thankfully, we've seen those winds get lighter and lighter since we've been here. Nothing like the hurricane force winds you mentioned from those Santa Anas. Unfortunately, there is the possibility of the winds to pick back up in the coming days here. So firefighters.
LA engine 62, no wires down. There is a branch impeding on a service line from the pole to the house. You can just notify Edison. 1005 Padawazi address, non-emergent.
The Edison has been notified.
What? 62 address correction, 1005 Alamosa.
Well, maybe they were worried that it was encroaching and they just dropped it on there on purpose, or maybe there was smoke and he didn't see it. What? Where? Who? Where are we going? No. I don't know if we can. Okay, so does I was told that the 12 o'clock wanted this, but do you want us to go there? Does everybody know? That's my question. Okay. I guess some new homes are burning in the Palisades. You know what? Let's stay above it. Well, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, let's just do it that way. I'm not going to get any text because we're up in the stratosphere. Do we have an address for all these new homes that are burning? Or maybe they're over here. I'm not criticizing it at all. This is Palisades. We're going back to Palisades. No. I don't even know if that's a house. We're just told new houses are burning, so we're just heading over there. Yeah. Well, I don't know if that's the house burning, but yeah, that's the Palisades Fire. Okay, that's what I thought. This is trying to get you a street name. It's just telling me it's Topanga State Park.
Engine 19, 2423 Foothill, cross the brakes unit, A Alpha 205.
Okay. Was it coming over here?
LA engine 91, you cancel squad.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you know, they need a lead.
118 cancel.
Dollar signs. Right here? Is it nearby? Could be. He doesn't have like all the flaps down and stuff. He ain't throwing the boards out. Yeah, I wonder where they are going. They're showing off.
Breathing 154 is into 152, squad 154. 535 South 2nd Ave, crossing the villa. Typically breathing 33s.
That's a tough call. Who is? Okay. Gosh, where's he going? Hope Mark's going to talk for a long time. Hey, Chris. I'm trying to, yeah, thanks. We're live on another station. On that other station. I'm sure they did everything that they can. I know they did everything that they can because of the LA City Fire Department. They're doing everything they can all the time. Underfunded, overfunded, they're always going to do the best job they can.
They're down 19, engine 82, 1224 Inverness, cross Madison.
Is he going to cross somebody else? Is there like somebody else coming through there? Is he joining the circle or did he already drop? All right, I don't know if Mark is live, and if he is, Mark, please forgive me, because I don't know how many times. Oh, he's coming over here. Oh, I see where he's going to drop. All right, I'm going to go back to it. If Mark has my audio up, I'm going to go back to it. I know where he's going to drop. I see it now. All right, he's coming towards us. Yeah, I can see the line. Okay. That's what I'm saying. Nice. Nice. That was freaking awesome. That was worth the price of admission. All that flying around, worth it. Worth it. Is it Case flying it? Racetracks. Doing racetracks. Isn't that racetracks? Ovals. Christian Crowley. Bow, bow, bow. Ba-da-da-da. Wow. No, she always looks like that. Can you play the tape back?
Outdoor Fire 186s.
LA Squad 154.
Oh, it was amazing, textbook, and just phenomenal. There were flames running up that hillside right there, getting so close to these houses out here. Now the helicopters are doing drops. They're just picking up the little pieces, as it would be, but they're still very important pieces. There was huge flames climbing up that hillside right there. One of those big tankers, I believe it was a DC-8, it made its way over here and did one phenomenal drop, just basically running from about here all the way along that ridge line. You can see some of that Phosgec, and just put out all those flames instantly. These homes out here off of Amy Way, now safe from that fire. They had structure protection there. That's probably how it all started. They understood what was happening out here, and they said, you know what, we really could use a tanker. There's another one just went through the shot, but they brought it in. They got the lead plane. They were out here dropping the Phosgec. They brought it in, and they put out a majority of that fire. Those helicopters, they're probably going to stay around. They're going to do a couple more drops once the fixed wing are out of the way. The helicopters make their way back in. Still a bulk of fire down low, but with all that flame retardant on that hillside, those I would venture to say are safe. This is all happening and playing out here. This is going to be Topanga Canyon, but this is still definitely part of the Palisades fire. I'm going to just do one quick little thing here. It might be a little difficult. I just kind of realized I've talked myself into a box. This is one of the hot spots out here in the Palisades area. That's some of that burn, and of course, as I pan, there's probably plenty of homes that have been destroyed, but look at all that devastation as we make our way back over this way, and there are so many hot spots out here that, you know, I just wonder how the fire department picks and chooses which ones that they're going to try to take out. That major one that we see right there, that's going to be the big one that's over by the actual Palisades area. This is the one you can see from Brentwood, continues to burn, and look at all that vegetation up here. This is where it's burning into. So that's the area that they already have some frost check lines. They may lay some more down out here, try to stop it, but this is that firefight, and it continues. The winds have lessened, that is for sure, but as far as some wind, it's still here. But anyways, that's the firefight happening out here right now at the Pacific Palisades area. Back to y'all.
LA, engine 186, can you check call back, get us a better location?
Copy. Checking with PD. They were our informant. Engine 186 per PD. They have nothing further. Their unit's just going on scene.
LA, engine 186, copy. We're on scene with one PD.
Wires down 64s, 604, correction 605, Damien Avenue. Wind 64, acknowledge.
LA, quit 64, copy.
64, copy. I'll show you in route.
LA, engine 186, we're UTL. We spoke with the Mona PD. No answer, call back.
86. Medic Rescue 47s, engine 593, squad 47, 9556 East Live Oak, engine 593, acknowledge.
593. LA, Copter 18, dash 3.
Copter 18, go.
Good afternoon, on Spartan Available Voice to EAO 220.
18, copy, 20 minutes to EAO. Reading 151s.
LA, engine 186.
186, go.
LA, 26, we made contact with RP. Go ahead and add us back to this ticket. We're doing an investigation.
186.
Quit 6-4.
6-4, go.
Per text is confirmed cell phone wires.
6-4. Looks like that's going to be a firm. I'll check with the call taker. That's a firm. Going to be telephone wires.
I copy. We're going to go, Bill.
Copy.
LA Squad 11. Put us on scene at a wellness check at 479 Alberta, and if you could dispatch engine just for forcible entry.
Copy. 479 Alberta. Starting unit engine.
LA engine 19.
Person 152, squad 32, break engine 19, go.
Engine 19, we are clearing this. Public assist, can we give us those wires down in our area?
Copy. We do show engine 82 already on scene.
Copy. Let us know if they need us. LA Squad 11.
Squad 11, go.
We have LA County engine 35 here helping us out, so you can cancel engine 12 at their discretion.
Copy. LA.
I'm sitting here talking to you, Michelle, and I'm just a big dummy. That is it right there. That's it right there. That's it right there. I'll send you a picture. I did a nice screen grab, but I can't send it because I have no cell phone service.
LA, go for engine 12.
Engine 12 per squad 11. They have engine 35.
I was like talking at you, and then I realized, you know, it works better when the mic's on.
LA engine 12, if 35 is on scene, we'll cancel.
Copy.
I mean, there were some problems nearby. Look at that. And then there's a whole cul-de-sac right over here.
Copy, copy, copy. Ah, always in a box. What's in the box? What's in the box? Skyfox. Skyfox is in the box. Wow. Now you're going to tell me, don't worry. Don't worry that pretty little head of yours. There it is.
Alarm 118, engine 145, 17380 Railroad.
Well, you got an ocean right there.
LA engine 145. 5 go. LA engine 145, this is the same exact address as the false alarm we just had. LA 145 confirming the alarm company already canceled false alarm. Stay firm, stating it's going to be a separate alarm on activation. Your last run, haven't confirmed on this one. 145 copy, we'll be en route. 145. Investigation inside 101s, engine 5141. 185 East 6th Street, engine 5141, acknowledged. Engine 141. Engine 145, it's going to be a false alarm. 145 copy. LA, quick 118 going available. We have another call in our area. Go 118, that's negative. 145 just cleared. 118.
Who is? What? KCal? Copy all.
Helicopter 18, AIQ Helicopter 18, copy AIQ Alarm 86s.
I don't know, maybe they're coming to us out of the break. What do we got for fuel, sir? Chris? We got your 20. We got your 20 right here. Copy out. Okay. We can just make the turn and kind of go back the same way. I kind of like this area. Aww. They're hitting it hard. What, the one, the closest to us? This one? Oh, I'm looking behind us. I gotta be careful with the big moves. Yeah, like if I swing it around to the nose, that's a big move. Yeah, and I think they're just gonna let that go. I mean, they're not like, oh, don't worry about it. But without the wind, you know, it's going to basically make its way up to that road, and that's when they're going to lay down the line. No, they said 20 more minutes for the show. Yes. Okay. Hang on. Oh, they're doing the Topanga one. Turn around.
Medical alarm, 152, engine 29, 1413 West San Fernando.
We're going back, Mark. We're going back. Nope. I think he's done with us. He's done with us.
Difference of reading 152. Going available, we can take them call in our area.
What's up?
Stand by for the second run in your district. Difficulty breathing off of Conwell. At 153, cancel. At 152, you have squad 32. Squad 29.
Dying back here. No, I'm joking, man. I'm good.
LA engine 86, false alarm. 86.
Sorry, I turn it down. Oh, you're commenting on that? No. Yep. Oh no. I wonder if that's a backfire. Nope.
LA engine 29. 29, go. LA 29, can you start PD? We're going to have to force entry. 29.
LA engine 111.
Go.
LA engine 111 is been released for the Archer incident. ETA back to district 10 minutes, 10.
LA Squad 32, we're clearing our last team push. Put us on that call in our district. Cancel Squad 29.
Squad 29, cancel. Squad 29, stand by for the run in 44s.
LA engine 29.
Engine 29, go.
LA engine 29, two things. If you could check callback, and then before we force entry, just confirming address of 1413 West San Bernardino Road, Unit E.
Squad 167, cancel. Wires down 5s.
LA 67, we're 30 seconds out. We'll stay on the run.
Squad 29, you can cancel.
LA engine 244, cancel my squad.
Squad 167, cancel.
LA squad 29, you can put us on the call in 32s. We're closer to 32s.
Copy. Squad 32, cancel. Engine 29, the callback provided by the alarm company is not a good number. Additionally, the alarm company confirmed the address.
LA engine 29, copy.
Check MDC.
LA engine 143, we're back at district. You can release our move up.
LA engine 150 has been released from the assignment. Releasing. We're back in district. 43 LA copies your traffic. LA copies. Engine 119.
LA Engine 32, cancel squad.
Squad 29, cancel. Squad 64. Stroke 762s.
LA Engine 5, can you have the RP come out?
Squad 26. Seven 6-1.
LA Clip 64, comm line only, we're available.
Deep. That's unit repeat. Engine 5, the RP is not the location. It's secondhand info.
Okay, copy that. It's going to be, it's just going to be comm line down. No power lines.
Copy.
LA Clip 761, attach my RA, they are aware.
761.
LA Engine 5, this is going to be a correction. That is going to be a power line down. At this address, I do not have a pole number.
Engine 5. Quinn 761, the RA got picked up for a traffic collision with engine 7563. Unconscious 63, engine at squad 19, 2675, Foothill.
Go ahead and put it back on the TT.
Copy. Quinn 761, it's going to be a false alarm. Seven 761, did you want the traffic collision?
Yeah, affirm. Post on traffic.
Copy. Engine 7563, cancel. Engine 19 LA. Engine 7563, cancel.
Go for 19s.
Affirm you copy the run, unconscious, 2675 Foothill Boulevard, 63's district.
Copy that transmission, responding to that incident.
Copy, I'll show you en route. Flow alarm 42s. 7397, squad 32. 71 Walnut Court, squad 32, acknowledge.
Show me en route.
2.
Squad 32, show us en route.
Can you repeat? Last unit traffic, repeat.
LA Squad 32, show us en route.
Squad 32.
Twin 761, engine 7563. You guys need anything in particular?
Squad 167, Ramona across the valley. Squad 167, acknowledge.
LA-42, this is a small fire in an oven, extinguished by personnel on site. No fire department needed, 42 available.
2.
LA engine 7563, we had not been canceled from this call. Show us returning.
7563. Squad 167, LA.
who still have their homes but are not getting the mail delivered. They're going to be coordinating that as well. So that's going to be rolled out through the United States Postal Service, but they are on top of it. Thank you for that question.
Collision 166 and Squad 90 in place of Squad 167.
That will conclude our press conference.
No
Anyone that would like to break out, we'll have Spanish-speaking PIOs along with other POs on the side. Thank you all for coming, and stay safe out there.
All right, everyone, that was the update coming out of Pasadena for the Eaton Fire, as we were getting fresh updates there. And again, we just want to continue to showcase the latest right here from Skyfox as well. But again, we want to show this great plane drop that happened with the retardant that was helping the communities there in the Palisades, and you can just see that great vision of what is happening there, trying to get this fire under control. And once again, so great for all of our first responders, and they do such a terrific job, and we always want to put that out there as well. All right, let's take a 2-minute break here on Live Now from Fox. We'll be back, more coverage in just
LA from Battalion 10.
Battalion 10, go.
Were you able to contact Squad 167?
That's negative. The number provided for special contact is no answer.
Copy, I'm seeing them out at Methodist Hospital.
Battalion 10. Battalion 10, are you able to confirm which hospital?
That's Keck in Arcadia.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Mike Page. Obviously, we have been covering for you the California fires that have just devastated so many communities in Southern California. And after the crisis is over, no doubt, the insurance really claims will begin, and that probably is already beginning right now. But right now, we want to go out for just a little update on that. Let's go out to Fox Business's Ashley Webster with a breakdown of what is going on.
Squad 90, cancel.
Critics say this insurance crisis has been in the making for years, and they blame California regulators who had prevented insurers from charging premiums that they say truly reflect the risks and the costs. As a result, several insurance companies have left California, eliminating new policies or just simply reducing their exposure. The state's former insurance commissioner says even those homeowners who do have coverage are facing a fight.
There's going to be an extraordinary number of claims being filed, and probably, from my experience as 8 years of insurance commissioner, the insurance companies are going to do everything they can to lowball and deny claims.
Insurers in California have been refusing to write new policies in areas considered high risk for wildfires. According to the California Department of Insurance, between 2020 and 2022, insurance companies declined to renew 2.8 million homeowner policies in the state. That includes 531,000 in fire-ravaged LA County. And consumer advocates claim it has nothing to do with losing money.
The fact of the matter is, insurance companies in California, home insurers specifically, are more profitable than the nationwide average.
But the insurance industry said inflation and the high cost of reinsurance leads to higher prices that cannot be capped.
There are never caps on insurance costs due to the fluctuating economy, so insurance has to be able to pay out claims.
California has what is called the FAIR Plan, an insurer of last resort, but the premiums are more expensive and it provides significantly less coverage. The program's exposure is estimated at $458 billion, but it has just $700 million on hand, raising questions about whether it can cover the claims. And in the wake of these fires, the cost of home insurance in some areas of California could now jump by 30 to 40%. Even if you don't live in California, your home insurance could also become more expensive as insurance companies try to cover their losses. I'm Ashley Webster for the Fox Business Network.
All right, thanks so much there, Ashley. We appreciate that. We want to continue to focus on this insurance crisis that will no doubt be played out right now. I want to bring in our next guest to help break this. California insurance claims expert. This is Chip Merlin. Thanks so much for joining us, Chip. Great to be with you. And I know it's just a very terrible time out there in California. Our first question is, I know so many people are going to be talking about these insurance policies, these claims. My question, I think a lot of people are wondering, for the people that are seeing their homes right now in rubble, what are the first things that they should be doing right now?
2466 Flintwood, utilize command 30.
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, most of the time I would tell you, go report your insurance claim to your agent, go read your insurance policy. But if your house or your business has just been burnt to the ground, that insurance policy probably got burnt up as well. So you're going to also have to be asking your insurance agent to get the insurance policy. The question to the insurance agent, you know, who's going to be coming to take care of the adjustment of the house? How soon can I expect to get additional monies for additional living expense? And if you're a business, where I might be able to go to reopen on a temporary basis.
Yeah, that's really good insight there as well. And I think a lot of people are wondering, too, in this situation, when you look at maybe people, if they've been in their homes maybe 10, 15 years and they've had their policy, maybe haven't updated it as much, what happens in those situations when maybe they've made some upgrades to their home? They won't necessarily get those upgrades back, will they?
No, that's a great question, and it's unfortunate that people don't have a better relationship with their insurance agent. And I get it. Most people hear insurance agent, they go screaming somewhere else because that's the last thing that last person they might want to talk to. But the truth is, by keeping up on the evaluations, you keep from being underinsured. And if you have not upgraded your insurance, you should do so. And this is for everybody listening. Construction prices have outdone all the rest of the inflation, and they've gone up significantly in the last 5 years. Everybody needs to be keeping up with the value to fully replace the building. And most of the time, and unfortunately, statistics are about 80% of everybody is underinsured at least, and this is a very high statistic, 40%. You know, so that means you're not going to have enough money to get rebuilt. And so it's very important to get full replacement costs. And then when you have a major destruction, and anything like this afterwards, the prices go up right away. Get a little bit additional guaranteed replacement costs just for these types of circumstances.
Yeah, those are all great points there, Chip, because I think a lot of people, they look at, they look on Zillow, they look on other sites, and they say, wow, my home's worth, 700, maybe, 800, whatever. They think they'll probably get that check. They won't.
No, you're not going to get that check right away. And as a matter of fact, the value of your land and your property, the real estate market value, has nothing to do with the amount that you should be insuring the structure. You should be looking at what's the replacement cost value. You have to build it back up from $1 to replace it. And that's unfortunately what a lot of these and our brothers and sisters have just had this unfortunate tragedy happen to them. and you've got to keep up on contents. You got to keep up on, if it's an older home, you asked about an older home, the codes have changed a lot because, and in part, California's been adopting new codes to make structures more resilient to wildfires so that we won't have these types of things happening again. So, you know, people ask me all the time, and I know it's difficult to do, but if you'll spend a little bit of time with a real life insurance agent, not just on the internet, but trust a real professional that gets to know a little bit about your lifestyle, a little bit about your home, get to that right, you know, price with respect to getting it fully covered. And I just know most people don't like to do it because who wants to talk about spending money? Most people don't want to talk about insurance. You only really know what you bought after you have a disaster like this.
No, you know, that's true. And do you think in a situation like this, that's so unfortunate that's what's happening there, but not only in California now going forward, but because this is a national story, really international as well, but here in the country, do you think people will see this coverage and say to themselves, okay, maybe we should call and see what our policy is?
I hope so. I mean, the truth of the matter is we have floods that are happening all over. If you're by a river or you're by an ocean, we have hurricanes, we're having huge hailstorms, we're having freeze damage things, we have earthquakes, and now wildfires in the Great West that we're having on a very regular basis, all because of climate change. And all of us need to really seriously take a look at the insurance coverage we've got. Most of the time, there's no loss and things go by just perfectly. But when the loss happens, the type of insurance coverage you bought, who you bought it from, is extraordinarily important. Most of us don't want to talk about it, but truly it's a very important product.
Yeah, that's so true. Chip, I want to move to another major headline, talking about State Farm reportedly dropped 72,000 fire insurance policies back in 2024, including about 1,600 policies in Pacific Palisades, which were dropped by State Farm back in July. Can you talk about why an insurance company would drop someone and what they can do if that happens to them?
Well, I've often said, and this is from the policyholder standpoint, insurance companies want to take the sure bet, the loss that never happens. They'd insure you if you wanted to insure the Brooklyn Bridge because you would never be able to collect on a loss from the Brooklyn Bridge. But the truth of the matter is there's a battle that's going on in most of the states between many of the larger insurance carriers, including State Farm, regarding what an appropriate rate ought to be, and then what the insurance commissioners and consumers think the appropriate rate ought to be. There's been, and this is not just isolated to California, this goes on throughout the United States. One of the leveraging facts that many of the major carriers that have had large market shares in the past have used is that, well, if you don't agree with us and you don't raise the rate as much as we're looking for, we're just going to go ahead and leave. Oh, but we're just going to leave the property insurance market. We're still going to insure your car. We still want your life insurance. And I think the states are starting to catch on that this type of leverage isn't quite right. And I think the dialogue needs to change. It doesn't mean insurance companies should be, losing money and be forced to lose money. Obviously, that's not the case. They're making plenty of money in most states. They're just not making as much as what they want. But that's a debate that's going to continue for a pretty long time. As consumers want to pay one thing, insurance companies want to make more profit, quite frankly, in the future, and for sure profit.
No, that's right. And Chip, can you also explain what this process is going to look like for people that went through just hell in the last couple of days, noticing and feeling that pain of losing their home? How long is this process going to take from what they see right now that's on the ground into whenever they can rebuild a home or get money to do whatever they want to for next? How long does that look like? What does the timeline look like?
A lot longer than what you think.
LA Engine 145 2466 Flintwood.
Like this,
Two-story single-family dwelling.
A hold of and for everybody if you have a friend or a loved one, they need some emotional support. It's not just a minor thing. Statistics are, and these after large catastrophes, there's a higher incidence of drug use, divorce, criminal activity. From people never be doing this because people are trying to cope with the loss of everything that they've got. Most of us, especially for our homes, we have all of our memories tied up in there, our photographs, everything, and all the things that we've collected. And now you have to go back and count all those things to make your insurance claim. It is an endeavor that it takes a large emotional toll that I've seen thousands of times in my career. And truly, people should be reaching out, getting professional help. They should know that there's councils out there. Don't be embarrassed
Person
about it.
188, squad
I really do
187.
think people's mental well-being afterwards is at risk for this, because the truth of the matter, if your home burns down and you're in a neighborhood like this, 10,000 structures, it's going to take a while to find that many contractors to go out there, get everything fixed. Typically, it takes 2-3 years. There's areas I've been back up to in Northern California that has had this go through. Even in Malibu, some of my clients just had their homes completely rebuilt last year. Now they're concerned they're going to get fire damaged again. So not for everybody a quick process, and it takes the better part in a community a decade sometimes to get completely rebuilt.
Yeah, that's so true. Chip, also, I think a lot of people want to know this answer to this question. What happens if a person, okay, their home is destroyed and, you know, they're in this community neighborhood where everything else is destroyed around them? Do they have to rebuild there, or could they go somewhere else with the money when they eventually get it?
That's a great question. And the truth of the matter is, most insurance policies allow you to rebuild anywhere you want, and you don't have to rebuild back there. You can take that same amount of money and go rebuild somewhere else and still get your replacement costs rebuilding somewhere else. Every insurance policy is different, but I'd say about 95% of them allow you to rebuild, not on that location, but somewhere else, so long as it's back to rebuilding a home for a home and a business for a business. You can use that money anywhere you want. And unfortunately, some communities never get rebuilt, just because of that. The community afterward, and these are for policy leaders, should very quickly, I mean, now, today, tomorrow, start getting other people that are committed to the community about what are we going to do, to rebuild our community, to rebuild it back better, to rebuild it back more resilient, so this will never happen again, so that our neighbors, our brothers and sisters, will want to move back here, and we have a thriving neighborhood, maybe better than it was before. There are other areas in the country that have done this. FEMA has a great how to do this. Colorado Springs did it after their wildfires as well. So there is some history that we can copy from that.
All right, Chip Merlin, thanks so much for joining us on Live Now from Fox. Great conversation, and I know these questions will continue to be coming for so many out there in Southern California. We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
All right, everyone, we will take another 2-minute break. Stay right here with us. More coverage coming up in just moments on Live.
Information only, that correction. That is a 3/4 inch gas pipe. 3/4 inch.
That's it. If you can come up on command, 30, 119 disregard.
Engine 151, cancel squad.
Squad 151, cancel.
160, can you please show us at the hospital?
Last year, repeat.
RA 762, can you please show us at the hospital?
RA 762.
And welcome back, everyone, here to Live Now from Fox. We appreciate everyone continuing to join us here. Tons of travelers are facing delays at some of the nation's busiest airports. Today's winter storm forced airlines to cancel more than 2,000 flights. So right now we are going to continue to talk about this big story as well. So many stories happening all across the country. We're trying to focus in on the biggest ones here for you. So let's go out right now. Fox's Kennedy Hayes joining us live at Dallas Fort Worth International Airport to show us how travelers are holding up today.
Hi, Mike. Well, it is a tough day for flying. Some travelers here at DFW say they've been stranded since yesterday.
My flight was canceled yesterday. I just moved my sister to Waco, Texas, and I've been in the airport since this morning.
They say, like, no, you were supposed to fly at 9 a.m., but we're scheduled your flight. You have to fly at 4 p.m. So I've been here almost 7 hours.
Airports are seeing more cancellations than yesterday, over 2,600 according to FlightAware. At least 500 of them were supposed to arrive or depart DFW. Part of this is because of delays at other airports like Delta's hub at Atlanta, Hartsfield, Jackson International. More than 70% of the flights there are canceled. We saw a scary situation on a Delta flight headed out of Atlanta around 9 this morning. The Boeing 757-300 aborted takeoff because of an engine issue. A couple hundred passengers had to use the emergency slides to evacuate. No one was seriously hurt. And if you are supposed to fly out this evening, you can always check with your airline to see if they're offering waivers so you can switch your flight for free. Mike?
All right, Kennedy, thanks so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. I really think right now the slogan for 2025 is anything can happen. Thanks so much for the updates. We really appreciate it here, as always. We'll take another 2-minute break. When we come back, we'll be talking to TMZ to get a breakdown of some of the celebrities' big homes that have been destroyed from the California fires. That's coming up next.
LA 188, cancel squad.
Squad 187, cancel.
And welcome back, everyone, here to Live Now from Fox. Again, we appreciate you continuing to join us all right here as no doubt on Live Now from Fox. We have been talking about this mega fires that have been happening out in Southern California, just devastating so many people, and really caught up in that as well is celebrities, and some big-time celebrity homes have gone up as well in the flames here. So I want to bring in our next guest to help break it all down for us. This is TMZ's Branson Quirk. Thanks so much for joining us on Live Now today to talk a little bit about these celebrities that are just like normal people right now there in Southern California.
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen the devastation over just the last couple days, but today specifically, what we're seeing is now the aftermath of those fires as they continue to move. I mean, they are still fighting these, tooth and nail. The Eaton Fire, the Palisades Fire, even the new Kenneth Fire, which erupted yesterday, which was out near Calabasas, just all still, they're fighting those all very, very low containment right now. But what I said was, we've seen some of the aftermath with these celebrities, and celebrities are now speaking out and sharing even photos and footage of the homes that tragically burnt down. For example, homes that went up from celebrities include Anna Faris, Jeff Bridges, Billy Crystal, Paris Hilton, Carrie Elwes, James Woods, John Goodman, Miles Teller. And let me tell you, that is only just a few of the celebrities that lost homes out there. And for example, Paris Hilton, she actually saw her own house burn down to the ground on live TV. She shared a video of her watching the news, watching it burn up, and then later on went out to the location and then filmed footage giving a tour of the rubble. And let me tell you, it is just heartbreaking to see these beautiful homes just burning to the ground.
No, it really, really is. And Branson, what has been some of the reaction from people, especially on social media? I could see it going one of two ways. People, sad for the celebrities, and then others saying, well, they got the money, they can rebuild, life will move on for them. What's it been like?
It has been definitely a divisive issue online when it comes to that question, because people tend to like to make those comments about people that have money. And I mean, obviously, a lot of these people that have lost homes will definitely land on their feet, but that doesn't excuse them from being, human beings. They have feelings just like you and I. They've made memories at these homes. They all have, or some of them have children, which they've made, very precious memories with their families growing up in these special places. So it's not, I think, helpful to bring up things like, oh, well, it's because they have money that these things aren't that bad for them, because some people that's not the way it works. I mean, memories are precious and irreplaceable. I mean, even going out to Malibu, we talked to Adam Carolla yesterday on TMZ Live, and he made that claim saying, that we all have feelings just like you and I. And it's terrible to even bring that up.
No, it really, really is, because you got to think about all, like you said, the memories that were made in these homes, as well as maybe some of the photographs that they'll never be able to get again. That, was before the times of the smartphones and everything that could be on your phone at this moment here. But even documents, everything. I was talking to a coworker the other day, and I was saying to them, I says, imagine, go to your home right now. Look at everything in there. Could you imagine it just gone tomorrow? I mean, that is something to think about.
And I will say, too, I mean, all of these homes that burned down, there are, over 1,500 just in the Palisades area. And let me tell you as well, it's not just celebrity homes that have burned down here. So a lot of people have been affected. For example, we have a coworker here who has a home out there, and they even had to run from this fire. And it's terrifying. And it's just terrifying for everybody, being a celebrity or not. And I will also get into the fact that people are not just divided on that topic. They're also divided on whether or not the city handled this correctly. There's, been comments about the fire hydrants. Gavin Newsom has been slammed with questions about that. People are just very distressed with this whole situation, and we're just beginning to see what's going on here.
Yeah, we really are. I mean, people are so upset that they are finding where Gavin Newsom is and just going up to him and doing interviews like if they are the reporter. I mean, it's really surreal to see at times. But yeah, definitely a lot to talk about there on not only just the celebrity front, but also just everything that's happening out there in Southern California. So Branson, thanks so much. TMZ, you guys always do such a great job. We appreciate all of the updates every time we can get them from you guys. Take care.
You too. Thanks so much.
No problem. All right, everyone. We'll take our final break here of the hour on Live Now from Fox. Stay right here with us. More coverage.
244, go.
LA, your address is 516 Royal Oak Drive.
244.
Welcome back, everyone. Here live now from Fox. I'm your host, Mike Page. Thanks again for being with us as we continue to bring you just some of the latest updates coming out of Southern California. I do want to show you again here from Fox 11, getting an interview with the LA fire chief talking about the response from these horrible, horrible fires. Let's listen in.
Los Angeles City Fire Department, and of course all the other fire departments that are assisting us with these fires. A new fire just broke out now in Granada Hills. Joining me now live, the chief of the Los Angeles City Fire Department, Kristen Crowley. Thank you for talking to us today. And we're just going to get straight to the nitty-gritty because there's been so much talk. And you're aware of the criticism.
Yes.
Most of the criticism has been directed towards the city of Los Angeles, towards Mayor Karen Bass, but it's also been directed towards the administration. Everybody loves firefighters.
Mm-hmm.
We love our men and women on the front lines, but the administration is another thing, and they've been very critical of the way everything has been handled. Your reaction when you read those tweets, those messages, those emails?
I tell you, my reaction first and foremost is to step back and remind myself that I'm not a politician. I'm the fire chief of the greatest fire department in the world. So my focus, first and foremost, is to make sure that our fire department, our firefighters are properly funded, they're properly trained, they're properly equipped. So when it comes to the criticism, since day one, my number one priority has been and will continue to be that our firefighters get what they need so that they can serve the community. That is number one. I am going to turn down the noise when it comes to any type of criticism because every decision that I make is going to be based off of what my firefighters need.
And those lives are on the line. So let's get to the big question, the budget. There's so much talk about it. It was cut $17 million. It was cut this. It wasn't cut at all, according to one newspaper. Was your budget for the fiscal year 2024-2025 cut?
I can tell you, I'm going to even go back further than that. Again, since day one, we've identified huge gaps in regard to our service delivery and our ability from our firefighters, boots on the ground, to do their jobs. Since day one, this is my third budget as we're going into 25-26. What I can tell you is we are still understaffed, we're still under-resourced, and we're still underfunded. So with that, whether it's $7 million, $10 million.
But was the budget cut, Chief?
Yes, it was cut. And it did impact our ability to provide service.
Let's talk about that memo. You sent a memo, a scathing memo, to the Board of Fire Commissioners where you expressed your concern that you were not going to be able to do your job. Your firefighters would not be able to respond adequately to a major emergency like a wildfire, like what we're seeing right now.
Right. So understanding where our services gaps are, number one, is understanding where our firefighters need in regard to their equipment. Now, let's focus back on what our people need, and what they need to be is properly funded and equipped. Whether it's $7 million or not, it doesn't matter. It impacts our ability, just like you said with the board report, of our ability to provide service, and that's on a normal day. Our firefighters are running over 1,500 calls. They're transporting 650 patients a day on a normal day, let alone the last 3 days of what we've had with significant impacts that have changed the communities that we serve, their lives forever. So with that, we're going to continue to fight for what we need to. That is my job as the fire chief of the best fire department in the world.
In December, you wrote that memo. You said that these budget cuts were going to severely affect your department, from everything from brush clearance checks to make sure homeowners were doing what they needed to do, to fire hydrant checks. And yet you heard the mayor just yesterday say, no, those cuts did not affect the ability to serve and would not have changed anything in this situation. What is going through your mind? And I know this is difficult. There are a lot of politics at play. You are not a politician. You are the woman responsible for all these men and women at LA City Fire and for our residents in the city of Los Angeles. When you hear the mayor say it didn't affect anything at all, what is going through your head? If you can share that with us.
Sure. So just full transparency. Again, my position is to make sure that our people get what they need to do their jobs, and also, mind you, that they get to go home to their families. The amount of calls that our firefighters are running today has doubled since 2010, a 55% increase with 68 less people. Full transparency, this isn't a new problem for us. Since the 3 years that I've been in the seat, I've sounded the alarm to say we need more. This is no longer sustainable. So with that, we're now in a position to be properly funded. We are screaming to be properly funded to make sure that our firefighters can do their jobs so that we can serve the community that we took an oath.
But when the representative of the city says the cuts that were made and signed did not affect the response to the fire that is being criticized, the response that is being criticized by so many people, what is going through your mind?
Yeah, just again, the full transparency of the documentation, of being able to sound the alarm.
Does it make you mad?
I don't know if it makes me mad. In the end, that is my job as a chief, to make sure that my voice is heard. And my voice is amplified from the needs of what our people need to do their job.
So tell the city, tell the residents, tell the people that are out there. I mean, thousands and thousands of people have lost their homes, and they're looking to blame someone, and it's not the Santa Ana winds necessarily. Right. They are looking to blame administrators.
Right.
What is the message here? And have you had a one-on-one with the Mayor Bass and said, hey, I told you so. I told you this was going to affect our ability to respond to a major emergency?
I would start with a message to the community. I think they already know in their hearts that our LAFD firefighters are here to serve them, first and foremost. Again, none of us on the fire department are politicians. We're public servants first. We took an oath to serve the public before ourselves and even before our families.
Gas company off me.
So with that,
119.
I want to focus on path forward. I want to focus on what the LAFD needs, what I need as a fire chief, and what our people need to do their jobs to make sure that we can save lives and that we can protect property to the greatest capacity, but we need to be funded appropriately. And that's where my head is, you asked.
The mayor said it didn't affect your ability to respond. Did it affect LA City Fire's ability to respond, starting with the Palisade Fire and then this domino effect of fires, incling the Archer Fire seeing happen right now in Granada Hills?
Yeah, I think obviously any budget cut is going to impact our ability to provide service. That's at this point, that is a ground truth in regard to our ability. If there's a budget cut, we had to pull from somewhere else. What does that mean? That doesn't get done. There's delays. So in the end, again, I'm going to focus on getting us what we need from this particular catastrophe and disaster and how much it's impacted the communities that we love. I got to go after the things that will help our firefighters, keep them safe, and make sure that if and when this ever happens again, that we're properly funded and that we have the ability to do our jobs and keep people safe.
What is your message to city administrators, starting with Mayor Bass?
My message is the fire department needs to be properly funded.
And it's not.
It's not at this point, and we've got the justification. We know where our gaps in service are. We know we need 62 new fire stations. We need to double the size of our firefighters. The growth of this city since 1960 has doubled, and we have less fire stations.
Let's repeat that, because those numbers are a little jarring. You know, 20 years ago, you had more fire stations than you have now.
We had 112 fire stations. Now we have 106. And since 2010, we've had an increase, doubled our call volume, which is firefighters responding to calls, 55% increase with 68 less firefighters.
So the city funding is not keeping up with the city's needs in real time.
No, and that's what our firefighters need.
Now, I'm going to ask you again. I'm going to continue pressing you on this. In your mind, what were you thinking when you hear all the city leaders say It didn't affect. Everything was great. It's unprecedented and And yes, the Santa Ana winds are unprecedented. We don't have them in January. We all know that. What was going through your heart?
What's going through my heart is that
Quint,
our firefighters, the community's firefighters, LAFD firefighters need to be properly funded. We need to be supported so that they can do their jobs.
And let me show you real quick. Photographer Tony Buttigieg, I'm going to ask you to pan over to that table. Tell me what I'm looking at. This is memo after memo after memo, including to the Board of Fire Commissioners, where you pointed out your concern that you were not going to adequately be able to respond to a wildfire, an earthquake, everything that we see precisely in the city.
That's my job as a chief, is to take a big step back and understand where and how can we better serve the community. As a community needs more, we need to have more to make sure that our firefighters can serve them. I identified early, my team identified early, labor identified early that we have service gaps. So when you talk about sounding the alarm and asking and requesting budgets that are easily justifiable based off of the data, real data, shows what the fire department needs to serve this beautiful city and the beautiful community that we swore that we would. That's what that is about. It is the follow-up. It's showing and justifying where our gaps are, and it's raising and sounding the alarm that the fire department is underfunded, understaffed, and under-resourced.
Do you believe, had your budget concerns been properly addressed in the new fiscal year, would we have seen the same outcome that we are seeing now with thousands and thousands, unprecedented numbers of structures, homes, businesses lost? Would the outcome have been different if they had listened to you?
I do believe if we would have set ourselves up appropriately over the past 3 years, we would have been in a better position of what had happened here in the city where we lost homes and we lost lives.
That has to be very emotional for you. This is your job, but this has to be emotional.
This is more than a job to us. This is who we are. This is our duty. And when you don't have that ability and people don't listen, that's why I'm talking to you right now. The fire department needs to be funded appropriately so that I can look any community member in the eye and say, your LAFD's got your back.
And right now you can't?
Right now, no. And that's why I'm here.
And how does that make you feel?
This is the burden of command as a fire chief of the greatest department in the world that I've wholeheartedly raised my hand to say, yes, I will represent the amazing men and women of the LAFD. And when they're not getting what they need to do their jobs, it's enough. And that's why I'm here.
And you have injured firefighters too, and you see those homes that have burned to the ground. There is so much loss. People are out of jobs. What goes through your heart when you see that?
The community is our community. Our firefighters stand with the community. We live in the communities that burned. So if anybody says anything in regard to our firefighters not doing everything that they can to protect our neighbors, our community, I will stand up and defend every action that members went through and are still actively fighting fire.
I don't think anybody is criticizing the firefighters. I think the criticism has been lobbed maybe 80% at the city of Los Angeles and maybe 20% at the administration here.
Well, again, I'm here to make sure that we are garnering the support to get our LAFD firefighters what they need to do their jobs, period.
Did the city of Los Angeles fail you and your department and our city?
It's my job to stand up as a chief and exactly say justifiably what the fire department needs to operate to meet the demands of the community.
Did they fail you?
That is our job. And I tell you, that's why I'm here. So let's get us what we need so our firefighters can do their jobs.
Did they fail you?
Yes.
Chief Kristen Crowley, I believe the anchors wanted to ask a question back there, had some comments.
We do, Gigi. If you could please ask her regarding the Times article that came out that the Santa Ynez Reservoir was closed to repairs and it was empty. 117 million gallons of water could have been used in this fight.
The question is about the Santa Ynez Reservoir being empty. There's been a lot of questions about that.
Sure. So my stance on this is, when a firefighter comes up to a hydrant, we expect there's going to be water. We don't control the water supply. Our firefighters are there to protect lives and property and to make sure that we're properly trained and equipped. That's my position on this. So if there's no water, I don't know how the water gets to the hydrants. Please defer that to DWP or whomever controls that part. But I can tell you the resiliency of our firefighters, if there's no water, they're going to go find water. They're going to figure out a way to do the best they can with what they've got in a very dynamic situation.
And I know you expressed concerns that those DWP hydrants would not be inspected thoroughly because of the budget cuts.
That is something to discuss, and we're going to look into that in regard to how we can ensure there's going to be water when we need it. But in the end, you know, I'm going to defer that to DWP and whomever else controls the supply. I can guarantee you that when our firefighters showed up on that day with what they had, they did absolutely everything they could do to rescue and to save people's lives and property. And that's the bottom line. Now let's get them what they need to do their jobs. And so
let's get them water, Chief, because I was with your firefighters and they literally were watching a house burn down with pain in their eyes, not being able to do anything. Pull water from a swimming pool to try to save a nearby structure that wasn't burning, and literally watching a house burn to the ground because they had no water.
That's exactly right. But did they continue to work, and did they continue to do what they had to do the best they could with what they had? Yes.
Chief, follow-up. Thank you very much for talking to us. We appreciate it. I believe we have a follow-up question from the studio.
Question on that reservoir issue. Is the fire department aware of when these resources are depleted, just like that reservoir had no water? Was she aware of that fact, that it was under construction and there was no water there?
Sandra Endo, one of our anchors, wants to know if the department is advised that the Santa Ynez Reservoir was going to be emptied. Were you aware that there was no water there?
No, we weren't aware of that.
They don't have to advise you?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
So you had no idea that there wasn't such needed resource?
No, we weren't.
Chief Kristen Crowley, again, Chief of the Los Angeles City Fire Department, thank you for talking to us. I know it's been a very exhaustive, emotional, and I imagine you're mad, and I imagine you're sad. You may not want to talk about that anger or that disappointment, but I can see it in your eyes. Thank you. Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you. We'll send it back to you.
Wow, Gigi, what a powerful interview. Thank you so much for asking those necessary, tough questions.
Precedent at times for the Los Angeles City Fire Department, and of course all the other fire departments that are assisting us with these fires. A new fire just broke out now in Granada Hills. Joining me now live, the Chief of the Los Angeles City Fire Department, Kristen Crowley. Thank you for talking to us today. And we're just going to get straight to the nitty-gritty because there's been so much talk, and you're aware of the criticism.
Yes.
Most of the criticism has been directed towards the city of Los Angeles, towards Mayor Karen Bass, but it's also been directed towards the administration. Everybody loves firefighters. We love our men and women on the front lines, but the administration is another thing, and they've been very critical of the way everything has been handled. Your reaction when you read those tweets, those messages, those emails?
I tell you, my reaction first and foremost is to step back and remind myself that I'm not a politician. I'm the fire chief of the greatest fire department in the world. So my focus, first and foremost, is to make sure that our fire department, our firefighters are properly funded, they're properly trained, they're properly equipped. So when it comes to the criticism, since day one, my number one priority has been and will continue to be that our firefighters they need so that they can serve the community. That is number one. I am going to turn down the noise when it comes to any type of criticism because every decision that I make is going to be based off of what my firefighters need.
And those lives are on the line. So let's get to the big question, the budget. There's so much talk about it. It was cut $17 million. It was cut this. It wasn't cut at all, according to one newspaper. Was your budget for the fiscal year 2024-2025 cut?
I can tell you, I'm going to even go back further than that. Again, since day one, we've identified huge gaps in regard to our service delivery and our ability from our firefighters, boots on the ground, to do their jobs. Since day one, this is my third budget as we're going into 25-26. What I can tell you is we are still understaffed, we're still under-resourced, and we're still underfunded. So with that, whether it's $7 million, $10 million.
But was the budget cut, Chief?
Yes, it was cut. and it did impact our ability to provide service.
Let's talk about that memo. You sent a memo, a scathing memo, to the Board of Fire Commissioners where you expressed your concern that you were not going to be able to do your job. Your firefighters would not be able to respond adequately to a major emergency like a wildfire, like what we're seeing right now.
Right. So understanding where our services gaps are, number one, is understanding where our firefighters need in regard to their equipment. Now, let's focus back on what our people need, and what they need to be is properly funded and equipped. Whether it's $7 million or not, it doesn't matter. It impacts our ability, just like you said with the board report, of our ability to provide service, and that's on a normal day. Our firefighters are running over 1,500 calls. They're transporting 650 patients a day on a normal day, let alone the last 3 days of what we've had with significant impacts that have changed the communities that we serve, their lives forever. So with that, we're going to continue to fight for what we need to. That is my job as the fire chief of the best fire department in the world.
In December, you wrote that memo. You said that these budget cuts were going to severely affect your department, from everything from brush clearance checks to make sure homeowners were doing what they needed to do, to fire hydrant checks. And yet you heard the mayor just yesterday say, no, those cuts did not affect the ability to serve and would not have changed anything in this situation. What is going through your mind? And I know this is difficult. There are a lot of politics at play. You are a politician. You are the woman responsible for all these men and women at LA City Fire and for our residents in the city of Los Angeles. When you hear the mayor say it didn't affect anything at all, what is going through your head? If you can share that with us.
Sure. So just full transparency. Again, my position is to make sure that our people get what they need to do their jobs, and also, mind you, that they get to go home to their families. The amount of calls that our firefighters are running today has doubled since 2010, a 55% increase with 68 less people. Full transparency, this isn't a new problem for us. Since the 3 years that I've been in the seat, I've sounded the alarm to say we need more. This is no longer sustainable. So with that, we're now in a position to be properly funded. We are...
And that was just some of the great interview there by Fox 11 with the LA fire chief, talking about the latest in the crisis of Southern California. We'll keep an eye on that right here for you, as always, on Live Now from Fox. Always great to be with you. I'm your host, Mike Page, as we continue to bring you some of the day's biggest top stories right here on Live Now from Fox. And another big one was that the Trump hush money case finally got resolved after really sentencing delay. Now, Trump was sentenced earlier today. And let's go out to New York. Fox 5's Morgan McKay with the latest on this big story for the president-elect.
186.
Case took around 30 minutes, and although he won't be facing any penalties in just 10 days, Trump will technically be the first convicted felon sworn in as president.
Sir, I wish you Godspeed as you assume your second term in office.
Judge Juan Merchan sentencing President-elect Donald Trump to unconditional discharge, which means that Trump will not face any prison time, nor will he be forced to pay any fines. However, this does mean that Trump will now be the first convicted felon to become president.
Your Honor, this has been a very terrible experience.
Trump appeared virtually in court from Florida and took the opportunity to argue again that this case was politically motivated.
It's been a political witch hunt. It was done to damage my reputation so that I'd lose the election.
But prosecutor Josh Steinglass argued that it was a unanimous jury that found Trump guilty of 34 counts of false business records in order to hide hush money payments to adult film star Stormy Daniels in an effort to influence the 2016 presidential election. Steinglass accused Trump of showing no remorse for his actions and said Trump instead has promised retribution.
Instead of preserving, protecting, and defending our constitutionally established system of criminal justice, the defendant, the once and future President of the United States, has engaged in a coordinated campaign to undermine its legitimacy.
I'm very
very much disagree.
Trump's attorney, Todd Blanche, pushing back, arguing that Americans made their opinions known about the merits of this case at the ballot box this past November.
The American voters got a chance to see and decide for themselves whether this is the kind of case that should have been brought. And they decided.
But Trump winning the election is why Judge Merchan said that he had to ultimately sentence Trump to unconditional discharge, acknowledging the legal protections granted to the office of the chief executive, but argued,
despite the extraordinary breadth of those protections, one power they do not provide is the power to erase a jury verdict.
Attorney making it clear that they will be appealing this verdict. Trump taking to social media after the sentencing, declaring victory, saying, quote, Democrats have lost another pathetic, un-American witch hunt. Reporting live, I'm Morgan Mackay. Mike, back to you.
Yeah, Morgan, we knew he was going to respond. We just didn't know how. And then, yeah, that is the typical Trump fashion there, just gearing up 10 days away from the big inauguration. So, yeah, we'll definitely be looking at that. But that really just sums up just how crazy the 2024 election cycle was, everything that was going on with Donald Trump, from the attempted assassinations to his legal battles and then the election as a whole. And now it really comes to an end here as the sentencing phase wraps up. And now we settle and get ready for inauguration.
Exactly. You know, the trial ended in May, and it took, you know, almost 8 months here or so for Trump to eventually be sentenced. It's been almost the entire 2024 that Trump was facing this hush money case, but he used a lot of the trial as an opportunity to campaign, and he really used this, and he said that he referred to this case saying American people really showed that they do not believe in the merits of this case, and they made it clear in November.
So true. All right, Morgan Mackay with Fox 5. Thanks so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. We always appreciate it. Thank you. All right, we will take another 2-minute break. Stay right here with us. We will have more coverage on President-elect Donald Trump and his sentence in the hush money case. All coming back next on Live.
LA Engine 91, there's going to be an electrical fire from an unknown source. Can you respond another engine to our location and go ahead and respond DC 12?
91. You're getting engine 43 of battalion 12.
LA engine 12.
Engine 12, go.
LA engine 12. Residence is home and safe. Ambulance cancel on scene.
Engine 12.
And welcome back, everyone, here live now from Fox. We appreciate everyone continuing to join us all in real time right here on Live Now from Fox. I do want to continue our coverage here. One of the big stories that we have been following, of course, Donald Trump sentenced today in his hush money case, won't face any jail time. I do want to bring in our next guest to help us break it all down. Legal analyst Jacqueline Goodman joining us on the show. Jacqueline, thanks so much for being with us on Live Now from Fox today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
No problem. So let's get a little bit into it here. This was expected where he was not going to face any jail time or probation.
Right, Judge Marchand telegraphed that in his earlier comments, so we knew that. And that is really what had, in a sense, cemented the idea that this is going to go forward, because the appellate courts, the United States Supreme Court, all of those rulings were, you know, all of them working together. And so I think President-elect
Laurel Avenue.
Engine 43.
43, go.
43, just want to confirm, was there a comp plan with the balance?
Engine 43, negative.
LA 91, go.
Engine 91, would you like a comp plan or a tactical?
LA, engine 91, let me have a tactical.
91. All units on the Apartment House Fire 91s, utilize 65 direct, 65 direct.
You are a resident of Southern California.
Take 183.
Home there.
5141, squad 101.
And just your reaction to everything that has been going on there.
Yeah, you know, we live in Southern California. We
Last unit available, identify.
High fire danger. There's climate change. Things are happening very quickly. But when you see the winds and the
last unit going available, traffic's unreadable.
The atmosphere just changed to something totally apocalyptic.
Sorry about that. That's
just
squad
in the blink of an eye,
183.
it's really stunning. I'm
Copy. Stand by for the run. Squad 101
cancel. In a suburb that has so far not been hit, and so this time around we have not had to evacuate, although we're on a high warning. But our second home in Malibu has been evacuated now for going on 3 days, and our neighbors
Squad 101 cancel.
have suffered enormous unthinkable losses.
Yeah, absolutely.
Copy. Engine 5141 cancel. Squad 101 cancel.
Long, really, these devastating images, and just seeing just how many homes, how many families are impacted. Your heart definitely goes out to all of them.
It's actually hard to describe. I mean, to be honest with you, my colleagues, one of them, a lawyer in North Carolina, is the one who really started checking in on me and awared me of the fact that the Palisades fire was so terrible, because living here, I just assumed, as I think a lot of us did, that there's a fire, it's near the beach, it's near lots of homes, it's going to be contained. And then remarkably, another colleague of mine in Texas was the one that said, don't go to court and just start packing, and that's what we did. But it's hard to, even when you think that you're of the mindset that you'd be prepared, it's really hard to wrap your head around the enormity of the devastation and the number of fires. I can see them starting in other, enclaves near my home in the suburbs, and those don't even get reported. So it's yesterday I was in downtown Los Angeles in court, and it was empty, and the smoke was so thick you couldn't even see the sun. It was really remarkable and quite a shocking thing to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we are thinking about you as well, Jacqueline. Thanks so much. We're glad that you guys are okay. Continue to stay safe, and we appreciate your updates as well. Thank you.
Our hearts go out to those affected. Thank you.
No problem. All right, everyone, we will take another 2-minute break here on Live Now from Fox. We are keeping an eye on the White House. President Biden expected to speak at any moment. Stay right here with us. More to come on Live Now.
Medical Rescue 186s, Squad 101.
That is going to do it for my time here on the desk. My colleague, Christina Evans, will be with you for the next several hours, breaking down the biggest top stories, including, of course, the LA County fires. All right, we are keeping an eye, though, out on in the White House. President Biden expected to talk about the fires, give a big update, and then he is expected to talk about the latest job numbers as well. So we'll be keeping an eye on this shot. Let's go out to Pasadena, California, though. Earlier today, getting an update on the Eaton Fire.
Gov. We've also extended the opportunity to utility companies participate and answer your questions. I know that's another question we're getting is, when is my power going to come on? When is my gas going to come on? These are questions that we're going to be addressing tonight, so I would encourage you all to participate. And last but not least, and I've said it, and we've got elected town council up in the Altadena area, and I know of at least 4 have lost their homes. These are elected officials that are representing the community, and I want you all to know that they are with us. They'll be there on the virtual call tonight and are very, very, very much a part of the community, and I just want to acknowledge them because it's important for us to recognize that behind every single thing you're seeing on the TV, there are people's lives who have been impacted, and it is not lost on me. So with that, I'm going to introduce now Los Angeles County Fire Department Fire Chief Anthony Maroney to give you an update on the Eaton Fire.
So good afternoon. Thank you, Supervisor Barger. The Eaton Fire is estimated to be 13,956 acres with 3% containment. We have over 7,000 structures damaged or destroyed and 1,527 firefighting personnel on scene. Yesterday afternoon, the Eaton Fire made a run towards historic Mount Wilson. The Mount Wilson Observatory and the telescope are undamaged thanks to the efforts of our firefighters and observatory staff. No buildings or infrastructure have been damaged or destroyed at Mount Wilson. We are appreciative to our many mutual aid and out-of-state fire partners for providing assistance to Los Angeles County in our time of greatest need. The current red flag event that we are under right now will expire at 6 p.m. this evening. However, we do anticipate another red flag event beginning on Monday, and I can assure everybody that LA County will be prepared. Before I close, I would like to thank Board Chair and 5th District Supervisor Catherine Barger for her unwavering support and leadership. I would also like to acknowledge the tireless efforts of all first responders who have put themselves in harm's way to protect residents and property. And to our residents impacted by this devastating fire siege, please rest assured that we will not stop until the fires are fully contained, and we will continue to be here for you as we plan for the repopulation, recovery, and rebuilding that will be occurring. Thank you. I would now like to introduce Assistant Sheriff Myron Johnson of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department.
Well, good afternoon. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department has deployed over 500 sheriff's personnel and still have actively deployed additional personnel to the fires. And that's in addition to our normal patrol staffing functions. Deputies have actively patrolled the evacuated areas and increased their presence in those areas for looting, deterrence, as well as burglary suppression efforts. Overall, the evacuations for the Palisades, Eaton, Hurst, Kenneth, and Lydia fires, evacuation orders, approximately 100,053 residents are under evacuation orders, and approximately 57,830 structures remain at risk. Evacuation warnings, approximately 166,800 residents are under evacuation warnings, and approximately 50,837 structures remain at risk. As you heard our sheriff speak about yesterday and this morning, we have a curfew enacted in the affected areas. It's been established in the Palisades and the Eaton Fire areas, and it's a mandatory evacuation zones, that will be in effect from 6 p.m. this afternoon until 6 a.m. tomorrow until further notice. This curfew will be strictly enforced and is being taken to enhance public safety, protect property, and prevent looting in areas where residents have been evacuated. We ask that all individuals comply with the curfew and stay clear of the impacted areas unless you're an authorized personnel member, such as a fire representative or an emergency first responder. Anyone found in violation of the curfew will be subject to arrest for a misdemeanor under LA County Code Section 2.68.320. And conviction of that section results in a fine up to $1,000 and jail time. We understand this is an extremely stressful and challenging moment for our residents in this community, but we appreciate the public's cooperation, and we will work together during this crisis. We also have additional assets from the National Guard that are assisting in law enforcement efforts during this catastrophe. We requested the National Guard's assistance yesterday. Several National Guard members arrived last night and were deployed in the Eaton Fire area and are assisting with road closures and critical infrastructure protection efforts. As additional National Guard personnel arrive, the Sheriff's Department will strategically coordinate their deployment to both the areas in collaboration with LAPD, Pasadena Police Department, Santa Monica Police Department, Azusa Police Department, and Arcadia Police Department.
LA, engine 186, person sleeping only.
There continues to be criminal activity in the Eaton area, and we continue to make additional arrests.
Copy. Squad 101, cancel.
But these numbers are still fluctuating, and we're gathering the information. In total, we have made about 18 arrests between Eaton and the Palisades Fire. 15 in Eaton.
347.
And then 3 in Palisades.
Squad 167.
Charges include possession of narcotics, possession of burglary tools, burglary, identity theft, looting. One suspect was on active parole and was also charged with possession of a concealed firearm. Unfortunately, we have confirmed 8 deaths in our jurisdiction, 6 in the Eaton Fire area and 2 in the Palisades County area. Our Homicide Bureau is working closely with the LA County Coroner's Office to respond to any deaths that have been reported. Our detectives have started to process certain investigations related to the fire, but they have to wait for access due to the dangerous conditions that still exist, such as downed power lines, leaking gas, and spot fires that are occurring. And just as Chief Maroney indicated, I'd like to acknowledge the hardworking men and women out there on the front line, making sure this community is safe. And this department is dedicated to apply every resource we have to be with you until we can get a handle on this tragic event. And now with that, I'd like to introduce Operations Section Chief Don Fergulia.
Engine 538, medical arm 5017 Lewis.
Was done.
Entrance Squad 111 injury, ALS 23264 Sherwood Place.
A few words, but I want to publicly thank you, Supervisor Hahn, because I know that you've been working as Metro Chair to help navigate the transportation system as it relates to the impact of these fires. So with that, Supervisor Hahn.
Thank you, Supervisor Barger. I'm here to support you in any way. These fires have not touched the 4th Supervisorial District.
145 traffic collision BLS 19272 Walnut Drive North.
And thank you for your tremendous leadership.
All right, as you can listen in there, we were just listening into the latest update there on the Eaton Fire. That has been such a cause of concern. We do know that there have been 8 deaths now attributed to that fire.
Engine 33, chest pain, 44567 15th Street West.
And as we are continuing to track everything that is happening down there in Southern California, I want to show you this live look that we also have of just some of the damage that we've been continuing to watch. And we're going to take this opportunity to join in with Fox's Sarah Legre. She's down there from the Pacific Palisades, just outside of a local recreation area that was destroyed by the Palisades Fire. Sarah, thanks so much for being with us here on Live Now. Again, it's been devastating to see everything that's happening. We know that fire is still burning. Can you sort of tell us what you're seeing at this point?
Engine 23, sick BLS. 15357
Yeah, I want to show you where
Boulevard.
we're at. We had to move down to Pacific Coast Highway and want to pan to our crew members currently working at the scene here, working on bringing down loose power lines as well as poles that have been needed to be brought down, I should say, just because of the dangerous aspect of the situation. Yeah, we had the fire that seems to have moved out of this area, of course, still susceptible, but when we're dealing with power lines and so on, it provides dangerous working conditions. So we have Los Angeles Power and Water out here, and then as we pan too, you're seeing the scorched earth right along PCH. I mean, these hills were beautiful. They were green. This is what so many people flock to, and just to see it reduced to what it is now is truly heartbreaking.
Water
And
Farm,
just about
2716 Carrier
21,000 acres,
Avenue.
we're seeing the Palisades Fire. So it is growing at this moment. We have 3,000 firefighters working on containing those flames, but just those dry conditions really working against us, and expecting those Santa Ana winds to kick up just a little bit more as we head into next week. Now, just earlier, I did meet soap opera actor Eric Braeden. He lost his home. I met him moments after he saw his home for the first time. This is what he compared it to.
29 traffic collision BLS Stewart at River Grade.
In Nazi Germany, and that is what Germany looked like after the war and during the war. Difference is they bombed from the skies. This is the most devastating thing I've ever experienced in LA. Lived here since 1960.
Yeah, since 1960, and really puts into perspective just how devastating this is for the people who have lived here their entire lives and have gone through several other fires that have torched the susceptible hills here along Los Angeles County. And then again, of course, expecting those flames to pick up once again. And then folks here under a curfew from 6 p.m. You guys just mentioned it in your video earlier with the Los Angeles County Sheriff till 6 a.m. tomorrow evening, just to keep these folks here safe because of all the elements that we're dealing with. And then unfortunately, the people taking advantage of this open infrastructure, this property now available, these cars
Engine 120
as well,
residential fire alarm 1620 Acacia Hill Road.
The portions being
Engine 163 Squad 147 choking 8965 Bryson.
Before we let you go, we have to ask you about these emergency alerts that have been going on. In fact, right before we came to you, we heard that you got another one on your phone. Some of those have been erroneous and not the case for all of those LA residents. Can you sort of talk through how that's been and what you've been seeing there as far as those alerts?
Well, and that's what's difficult here. I just got 2 alerts, and I'm wondering, okay, is this something I need to take seriously, or is this an alert that is just an error? And we talked to Los Angeles County Sheriffs, and they said, you know, this is not a human error. This is more of a technology error. They said they're working with FEMA to investigate this. I actually had to pull over a Los Angeles County Fire Department fireman to kind of ask him, hey, is this a legitimate thing? He's like, well, no, just because you're in this area where we're battling the Palisades fire, it's closed off to the public. They let media in. That's part of the reason why I'm getting those alerts. But shortly after he told me that, I did get another alert for a little ways north of me into Malibu. So we have to question, is this something that we need to take seriously? Well, we know that Los Angeles County is working on fixing the issue, just not there quite yet.
And when it comes to those cleanup crews as well, Sarah, we know that they've been down there doing the best that they can. How is that process looking at this time?
Engine 164,
I think
Squad
it's a slow
163,
process, but you have to look at it on a
7026
smaller
Mountain View.
scale, getting piece by piece done. If you think big picture too much, I think it's almost discouraging. But it's so great to see them out here working tirelessly to protect this community, to make sure those down power lines that could be incredibly dangerous, cause much more damage, I should say. They're working on it, and they seem to be in good spirits, as much as you can be, really, in a situation like we're in here throughout the southern portion of the state here in SoCal.
I'm glad you mentioned being in good spirits. We also know that so many of those firefighters, some coming in from out of state as well, have just been battling for hours on hours endlessly to get the situation under control. Have you talked to any of those first responders on the ground? What are their sentiments at this time as they're being asked to continue to keep pushing to make sure the residents are safe?
Squad 135, Squad.
Well, absolutely. I've seen some from, in the state, different parts of the state. San Diego County, I used to work and live down there, so I know them all very well. I met up with them here while they've been helping the first responders mitigate these flames. Folks in San Bernardino County, I grew up just a little bit more west of that area, too. So for me personally, it's very personal. It's ineffable to describe all that we're feeling down here, but it's just so wonderful to see all the fire troops, too, from out of state. We've been touching base with them, asking their story, when they got the call, when they came down, and they all had that urge. They wanted to be here. They wanted to participate, because when you see a place that we all know and love, whether we're from here, whether we're from out of town, whether we visited it once, whether we just see it on the movies, it's just so devastating to experience what is going on with this community. And whether you're watching it on TV or living it as a first-hand experience, it is palpable, it is raw, and it is heartbreaking. And those firefighters know that, and they do not want to stop helping all of the first responders out here in Los Angeles County until they really can work to tackle these flames and make this a safer community. So they're in good spirits, they want to be here, and they are just driven. Really incredible men and women on the ground.
It's great to hear that, and Sarah, we hope that you're continuing to stay safe yourself, you and your crew, while covering these devastating wildfires there in Southern California. We appreciate you for joining us here on Live Now.
93 investigation inside 37311 47th Street East.
In for you on Live Now, taking a live look at some of those flames burning. We're going to take this opportunity to take a 2-minute break, but our coverage here of the Southern California wildfires continues on the other.
Clinton Squad 104 entry ALS 26903 Quattro Milpa Street. Quint 20 with Downey Medic Engine 64, chest pain 12147 South Harvest Avenue. Quinton Squad 20, chest pain, 12147 South Harvest Avenue. Engine 42, San Marino R91, seizure 3590 San Pasqual Street. Engine 87, abdominal pain, ALS 302 San Angelo Avenue.
Welcome into Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Christina Evans. Of course, we've been continuing our coverage here for the last few days, talking about those devastating wildfires that are happening right now in Southern California.
Engine 171, bleeding BLS 300 South Eucalyptus.
That we have of these smoke plumes still in the air there, as so many people are just realizing that their life, their livelihood has been taken away from them in just a matter of hours. So we do know that the National Guard has been deployed to help fight this fire, and 500 Marines are also assisting in this. This is as emergency officials there in the county are facing questions about erroneous emergency alerts and empty fire hydrants as well. For more on all of this, we now are joined by friend to the program and former military preparedness
Engine 16,
officer
Squad 13, chest pain, 6911 Converse.
Before we get to the alerts,
Engine 134, entry BLS 740 West 70K.
Let's first talk about the collision between a drone and a super scooper firefighting plane last night. It did look like there was some damage. That's got to be one of the worst nightmares when you're trying to respond to such an emergency like this.
Christina, it's probably inevitable. This is an issue that first responders have been dealing with for quite some time, specifically first responders in Southern California dealing with wildfires. There's been a problem where individuals will go out and they'll fly their drones to get pictures of the fire. They had to clamp down on media doing that some years back to say, hey, look, you can't fly your drones, otherwise we can't put out the fire. And I will say that all the major networks, everybody was very cooperative in dealing with that. But there are a lot of individuals out there that have their own drones doing a lot of stuff. And what they saw was what looks like a collision. One of the wings struck what appears to have been a drone.
Engine 8, Squad 58,
the plane
seizure,
didn't actually
858,
know that the
Drive.
super scooper plane didn't
Engine
actually know
Squad
they hit the
61,
drone
difficulty breathing,
until they got to the
19850
ground.
East
But what
Colima
it's
Road.
done is it causes the plane to have to be down for the whole weekend for maintenance, getting that wing fixed. Also, it heightens the concern of all air operations, because the only thing they can do when they see a rogue drone out there flying is to shut down air operations. And as you can see with these fires,
Engine
if you
Squad
shut
61,
down air
difficulty
operations
breathing,
for an hour or 2 hours,
858,
particularly with
Glenway
these
Drive.
relatively narrow windows, if you will, where the winds have died down, where our air operations, airdrops can be really optimally effective, it can cause some serious setbacks for our firefighting efforts. That turns into greater damage, loss of homes, and potentially even loss of life. So these drones, they've been a problem. This is a big demonstration of just what type of problem they are. The real fortunate thing is that the aircraft, thank God, was not brought down out of the air, and they were able to safely land. But we've only got 2 of these Canadian-supplied super scoopers in the Los Angeles area. So now one is out of commission because of a drone, and they are a quick turnaround bird. You know, they literally land, in many cases they land in the ocean, and they scoop up water, and then they quickly take off and drop water on the fire. That's a unique capability with a lot of turnaround capability in terms of dropping water. And now half of that is gone because of this irresponsible drone operation.
And Hal, of course, we know we've been watching this fire since it broke out earlier this week. We saw how that first day, when those winds were too strong, they weren't able to have that air support. And it seemed like the fires were just continuing to grow at a rate that firefighters, honestly, with just boots on the ground, couldn't help them. Hal, I appreciate you for being with us. We do have President Biden, though, stepping up to the mic right now. He is expected to make comments on this fire. We got to go to him right now.
Okay.
Jobs in December. That the unemployment rate has dropped below 4.1, as low as 4.1%. And all told, in 4 years, we've created 16.6 million new jobs, the most of any single presidential term in history. There wasn't a month, not a single month, when the economy lost jobs, another record for any presidency. In fact, last month America lost jobs was the month before I came to office. And the question is, I want to make it clear, how and why did we make such progress? We did it by fundamentally changing the economic policy of this country. After decades of trickle-down economics that primarily benefited those at the very top, Kamala and I and our administration have written a new playbook that's growing the economy from the middle out and the bottom up that benefits everyone. The new playbook is working, but in 10 days, our
Engine
administration will end and the new
5117,
administration
squad
will
191, entry ALS and medic engine 771's area of
Do we continue to
426
grow
West
the
Road.
economy from the middle out and the bottom up,
Engine 18
as
back
we have
pain
the past 4 years,
5527
or
West
do we
119th Street?
backslide to an economic theory that benefited those at the very top, while working people and middle-class people struggled for their fair share of growth? 4 years ago, when Kamala and I came to office, 3,000 Americans are dying per day because of the pandemic. Millions of Americans have lost their jobs and were at risk of losing their homes. Hundreds of thousands of factories and businesses closed, creating despair in so many communities all across America. Supply chains were shattered.
Engine 156,
Prices
squad
soared from
124
everything from
Donald Payne
cars to
ALS
home appliances.
27800, Big Bean.
The previous administration had no real plan to get us through one of the toughest periods in the nation's history. In fact, there's an old saying, if the only tool is a hammer you have, everything looks like a nail. And over the course of decades, our Republican leadership's trickle-down economic was a hammer, and working people were the nail. Slashing taxes for the very wealthy and biggest corporations.
Engine 134, squad 84, difficulty breathing 43328
and
Gaston
factories
Avenue.
for cheaper labor overseas while importing products that used to be made in America. To offset its cost, advocates of trickle-down economics ripped a social safety net, trying to privatize Social Security and Medicare, trying to deny access to affordable health care and prescription drug costs, lifting the fortunes of the wealthy, often meant attacking the rights of workers. We came to office with a different vision of America. From the first 2 months I was in office, I signed the American Rescue Plan that put shots in arms and checks in pockets to vaccinate the nation and return us to full employment. We followed up with long-term investments in our future. My Investing in America agenda, which includes the bipartisan infrastructure law,
Engine
the CHIPS and
134, squad
Science Act,
84.
the Inflation Reduction
Difficulty
Act,